Welcome back. We're diving right into the biggest Azure updates for December 2025. We've got some seriously cool stuff in AI, plus some must-know changes for security and the core platform. Let's get to it.
So let me just start with a question, because it really gets to the core of the coolest update this month. Imagine this. What if the AI you're talking to could answer you instantly? I mean, without that little awkward pause. What if it just felt real?
Well, that's pretty much what's happening right now. In our first section, we're going to look at two absolute game changers in the AI world that are going to totally change how we interact with our apps. We're talking about Vibe Voice, and you guessed it, the much-awaited GPT 5.2.
Okay, look at this number, 300 milliseconds. That's it. That's how long it takes for Microsoft's new text-to-speech model Vibe Voice to start talking. I mean, that's just insanely fast.
So what does that actually mean for you and me? It means that awkward pause, it's gone. You know the one, right? The one where you're waiting for the AI to think. Now, Vibe Voice can start talking the moment the LLM starts generating its answer. It makes the whole conversation feel, well, human, totally fluid and natural.
But hold on, it's not just about being super fast. Vibe Voice is a real powerhouse. We're talking about synthesizing up to 90 minutes of speech, which is huge. It can even handle up to 4 different speakers. And maybe the coolest part? It gets context. So it knows an exclamation point means you're excited, and it'll actually sound excited. It's way more expressive.
All right, now for the other huge piece of AI news. It's here. GPT 5.2 from OpenAI is officially available in Azure. And this is a big deal. We're talking about a massive leap forward, built to chew through the really tough stuff, like crazy long documents, complex multi-step problems, and those massive code bases that used to make other models just choke.
And I love how they've broken this down. It's not one size fits all. You get 3 different flavors. First, you've got Instant, which is perfect for your fast everyday writing tasks. Then there's Thinking. That's for when you need to go deep, for complex reasoning or writing a whole novel, basically. And at the top, you've got Pro. That's the heavy hitter designed for maximum accuracy on the absolute toughest problems you can imagine.
Now here's the best part. This isn't some far-off lab experiment. This power is coming straight to the tools you probably use every single day. Your M365 Copilot? It's about to get a lot smarter. GitHub Copilot is getting a major upgrade for handling all that complex code. And of course, for all you builders out there, Microsoft Foundry and Copilot Studio are going to let you create some incredibly powerful custom apps and agents.
All right, let's pivot a bit. We're going to switch gears from the super exciting AI stuff to the core platform. And we're starting with a really important update in networking that has huge implications for security and, you guessed it, compliance.
So before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's just make sure we're all on the same page with this term, FIPS 140-2. What is it? Simply put, it's a U.S. government security standard. It's the rulebook that says which crypto stuff is tough enough for high-security places. We're talking government agencies, big banks, healthcare. Anywhere compliance is king. Okay, so here's the news. Application Gateway v2 now has a FIPS-compliant mode, and it's generally available. So what? Well, normally you get a whole bunch of standard security protocols. But now you can flip this switch to FIPS mode, and the App Gateway will lock itself down to only use those super secure, government-approved cryptographic suites. This is a massive win if you need to tick that compliance box, because it just works right out of the box.
Next up, let's talk about storage and data. The theme this month seems to be all about giving you more control and making it easier to work together.
So let's unpack this one. If you've used Azure Files Premium with LRS, you know it's always kept 3 copies of your data safe. Awesome. The only problem? You couldn't tell it where to put those copies. Well, now you can. With the new zonal option, you get to pick the exact availability zone for your data. Why does this matter? Well, you can stick it right next to your compute to /latency, or you can get really creative with your own custom disaster recovery plans across zones. It's all about control. And speaking of making things easier, here's a fantastic little quality of life update for all you data folks. You can now plug your Azure Databricks dashboards straight into Microsoft Teams. No more emailing links that get lost or taking clunky screenshots. You just share the live insights right into a Teams channel. It's going to make sharing data and making decisions so much faster.
All right, let's wrap things up with our final section. Think of this as the important housekeeping stuff, the need-to-know updates that'll keep your Azure world spinning, including a pretty important deadline change and some news on the OS front.
Okay, first up, and this is a big one if you use Azure Batch. That deadline for getting rid of default outbound internet access, it's been extended. Phew, it was September 2025, but now you have until March 31, 2026. Now, the key takeaway here is you still have to do the work. You need to set up your own outbound access with something like a NAT gateway. But the good news is you've got a bit more breathing room to get it sorted.
And just a quick heads up for anyone working with Azure Sphere. The new OS version, 25.12, is out. Now, you're not going to see any new shiny features on the surface, but there have been a ton of changes under the hood. So Microsoft is really recommending you test this one thoroughly to make sure nothing breaks in your setup.
So, there you have it. We've talked about AI that can speak in the blink of an eye, a much smarter GPT living inside the tools we use every day, and some really key updates for keeping things secure and flexible. It kind of brings us full circle back to that first question. With AI getting this good, this fast, and this integrated into everything we do, it really makes you wonder, right? What are you going to build next?